Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends and family beyond the binary, good evening and welcome to episode 4 of the Coach's Corner, the show where we take a deep dive into one map from a feature match of Overwatch Tranquility. My name is Warren Juggle God Hammond, and I'm here to ask the stupid questions so you don't have to. And tonight on the show, we have our guest coach, Muffins. How are you doing tonight, Muffins?
Doing good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, excited to get into this with you. Now, I understand that you had you got into coaching actually not through Overwatch but through Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Is that correct?
Yeah. So I'm currently a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I've been coaching at my school for about 7 years now.
Nice.
And I always wanted to be a teacher, so I just enjoyed it, and I enjoyed like the technical side of Overwatch because I know I'm not that good, but mechanically, but I feel like I have a decent brain for it.
Right. Like it's the same thing that you get with tanks, right? You've got tank aim.
Yep.
Tank aim and tank brain, right? And that actually I think is I wanted to mention this as well before we really get started. We've got 4 tanks on the show today. We didn't even realize this while we were setting it up, but we found out just while we were chatting a little beforehand. So this is going to be the tank episode tonight, everybody, and I'm very excited about that. Now, are there any kind of overlaps between how you would coach Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and how you coach through Overwatch?
Yeah, so I like to focus on making everything sound in both. So since I coach youth a lot in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I'd rather focus on them making sure everything's correct or doing things correct rather than like, oh, just get good at one thing, or like like in Overwatch, like I'd have that be more of like, don't rely on like one person to carry you. Like don't rely on your DPS carry.
Right.
So, like when we're talking about team Overwatch.
Okay, got you.
So focus on your rotations, focus on your compositions, and don't just focus on, we'll just have X person pop off.
Right.
Because they might not that night.
Yeah.
Or in Jiu-Jitsu, your one move might not work. Well, hopefully everything else is sound.
Gotcha. I like that. And that segues beautifully into the next thing, which I wanted to talk about, which is what our focus is going to be today. So can you elaborate a little bit on this?
So positions and rotations, alt planning, pre-fight planning, and compositional goals. So positions, rotations are kind of the same thing. Positioning is where the individual people want to be at, and rotations are where you want to go on the map as a team. I know it's the map today, since it's a King of the Hill. It's not. Rotations don't really exist.
Right.
So it'd be more positional, and like there'd be like micro rotations that the individual characters make. Alt planning, what ults you want to combo together. Pre-fight planning is who's going in where, and compositional goals is knowing the win con of your composition, because everything's different. It's like if we have a Genji and an Ana, well, unfortunately we have to play for Nano Blade. And if you have like a Far Mercy, well, you might not have necessarily as hard of a win con as Nanoblade, so you might just be able to win fights more freely.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Well, let's talk a little bit. Let's take a look at which teams we're going to be looking at today. So we've got Sky Guardians versus Squall. Now, this was the Harmony tier, our first Harmony tier match as well. So excited to get one in between, like I said, Sky Guardians and Squall. And today on the show, we have Bubba Wyatt and Toasty. And you mentioned the map earlier. We are going to be going to Oasis. So a great control map. Lots of different points really here. We're going to be looking at 2 of them today. We're going to be checking out, let's see here, City Center and University. All right, so here is City Center, the first one that we are going to be going over. So can you tell us a little bit about this map? Maybe some of the rotations that you like, or some of the positioning, rather, that you like on this map.
So Oasis City Center is probably actually my least favorite map as a tank player, because you have to play very intensive, you generally play a dive tanks here.
Right.
All right, because of the high ground, the circular point. If you're playing a Reinhardt, man, your Lucio better love you, and you just better be going everywhere. So generally, let's see if I can mark this right here.
Yep.
Wait, let me get the pencil.
Oh, that's me.
Not there. Don't want to mark you. There we go. Found it. All right. So generally, I'd be going. We were going to push out through here and up, and you generally want to you always want to go up to this high ground. All right. So you're going to go up through here. up
Right.
the jump pad, and up into the high ground. Always, for almost every composition, for some degree, right? Unless you have insane mobility running like a classic dive style. Generally, sitting down on point isn't what you want to do, even though a lot of teams will default to that. Right?
Gotcha. So even if you're playing a rush composition, you still want to roll out to that high ground, I presume, because the enemy team is going to be there.
Yeah, you want to put somebody up there. So if you're on a rush, again, unless it's like if it's a rush, if you rush, then you can go point, but that would involve scouting and like
Right.
someone's gonna get up the high ground anyway, and you'll just be fighting up there. Um,
Yeah.
but like say you want your BAP up there, you want your BAP would be sitting up here or in
Mm-hmm.
this area, or he can jump even over to here like during the fight, so he's like hard to attack. Yeah, sure he can get like poked out and get a lucky headshot from a spamzo arrow, but you want him to have a good overview, even though like because again, like if you're playing like classic rush, not ideal for this comp. But again, always want to take a high ground or an off angle. So like you could even be like out here on these steps. You see some teams at like higher levels play like in this little corridor because it's also very safe.
Mm.
Not necessarily a high ground, but it's an off angle.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Thank you very much. Well, let's bring in our players now and start to ask them a little bit about how this went. So, like I said earlier, tonight we have Bubba and Toasty. So, how are you guys doing?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Yourself?
Yeah, doing good. Thanks for coming on the show. So, any questions that you have for Bubba and Toasty before we get into the map? Anything, about what each team was thinking, plans, things like that?
Let me think. So what's your general like to also scout a little bit from my team, my coach? What's your general like? Are these on the composition you run on this map, especially City Center? Because we all know on University is a very standard comp you run on City Center. Are these like comfort comps, or are these specific comps for this specific point that you guys work in Scrim?
Well,
Uh,
for Sky Guardians, we've been trying to work on these for a while, make them our decent comfort picks. At least for me, Diva is a very good comfort pick. Our DPS are also very comfortable on said heroes that we play on this map. So it's really just that they're designed more just as like a team comp. So we're really just trying to play the comp. We don't have a set like we are all comfortable on this, and so let's go with that. It's more our coach gave us this comp a coach gave us this comp a few weeks ago, and we decided to try and run with it, and it's been working really well for us. So we're trying to make that kind of comfortable, but it's not. I wouldn't
And
say it's our absolute comfort yet.
And just for the audience, who is speaking at the moment, since we don't have
Oh,
webcams, just so we know which team this
that
is
would
as
be
well.
that'd be Bubba.
That'd be Bubba. Okay, so you're talking about the dive composition then that your coach
Mhm.
asked you to run out of.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yes.
that is also like their composition, which we'll see in a moment, is very strong. Is very current in like an Overwatch League meta right now. It's very strong composition. Few tweaks to make it in my opinion, a bit more appropriate for, as I'll say, a lower elo play.
Mm-hmm.
But it's generally very strong.
Gotcha. And El Toasty, how about you?
So yes, this is Toasty. So the composition that Squall is running is we've found some success to playing the composition that Sky Guardians plays on this map. We haven't really had a chance to practice the composition that Sky Guardians have been running, so we just defaulted to running the double shield with the pharmacy with success. So that's why we decided we're gonna run this composition, and it is comfort picks as well.
Gotcha. Excellent. All right, thank you. Well, let's get into the map now. What do you say?
Yeah, let's go. Let's jump in.
All right. Now, yeah, go ahead and get us started here. We could probably fast forward a little bit as well to where the action actually starts, I think.
All right.
Muffins?
All right. So let's get us. Oh, there we go. Let me hit the end again. All right. Let's get this going. Hit this up by 20.
Ready for battle.
There, we'll keep the spectator overlay on, so that way we're all familiar with who's going in. I'll say as a horse OTP, Orisa is a comfort pick for me as well. We have real quick before we go in, so we have Sky Guardians on the left in the blue team and Squall on the right in the red team for this.
Yes.
All right, so we have Sky Guardians running out on the Ball Diva composition. Okay, so we do have the Zen in the spawn room mode on the Ana, which I kind of like a little bit better for lower elo. But again, if this is comfort, this is like the actual composition you'll see, like high in like Overwatch League at the moment, very strong. And as we said, we have Squall on the double shield with a pharmacy. And a Tracer. Tracer's an odd pick here.
I was going to ask about the Tracer pick, actually. Yeah.
So we're fighting on point. So right now, Passy's doing a good job of just engaging and like not overstaying their welcome. Although they could, because there's nothing on Squall that really can like mess Passy up other than the Sigma.
Right.
So let me just pause this right here. So as I mentioned before, it's this high grounder here. No one's up on this beautiful veranda.
No.
Not a soul is up here on this beautiful balcony. Okay. Right now, personal opinion, a bit more, because again, I don't want to step on any other coach's toes. Squall should have immediately rotated up to here. And this should have been where they lived. Should have been where your Orisa, Sigma, and Bap were. And again, the Trace is an odd pick because you don't have much follow-up with it. You can poke out and scout, but again, if it was a very comfort pick comp, that's understandable. You guys just kind of want to vibe up here.
Now, specifically, where would you suggest the tank's position? Should they be kind of like near one of those walls so that you can use the natural cover and kind of like use the shields to kind of bridge the gap?
You'd want to use a slight split angle here. One on the left, one on the right. Like Orisa could be somewhere, Sig could be somewhere, because your Orisa is going to stay up here because they have the longer range and they have the pull ability. Well, Sig would drop on the point and just kind of be vibing on here for contest, because the Mercy could fly to him, the Bap could heal him. Well, no, Orisa doesn't need to drop down unless it gets to the point where like you have to like fight into the enemy team or into their back line.
Gotcha.
But again, you're kind of just up here playing protector for your Bap, because all of Sky Guardians would want to attack this Baptiste up here. And on the flip side, for Sky Guardians, really the Soldier could just vibe up here. Soldier, Brig, and Zen could vibe up here.
Okay,
right?
cool.
The Soldier wants high grounds and off angles, and Zen and Brig again want to be kind of like isolated, so maybe not against the Pharmacy, but like they could play a very split composition here, and it'd be hell for Squall.
Right.
But let's keep on going with this. So the Orisa gets the Zen here. That's not the end of the world. Basically still going in. Would like to see a little bit more combined. Oh, we're pincering a little bit. That's good. Yeah, this is just so Sky Guardians already has a point, and it's just so hard to like attack their composition with double shield, like especially on the even side, because they can just all get out. Like the only person who can't really get out that well is Brig, and she's like not really supposed to be doing. Brig's just is a glorified babysitter in this composition.
Right. And to be specific, the babysitter for Zen, correct?
The babysitter for Zen, yeah. You're supposed to sit on your Zen because in case they have a Squall has a Tracer, and with just a Tracer, Brig with a Discord on a Tracer is going to win that fight 9 times out of 10, unless they get pulse bumped like they just did.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Right. But they flipped it. Squall just flipped it, but it took them 43% to flip it.
So now, what could Sky Guardians have done a little bit better to hold on to that point in that last fight?
Let's go back to it. It could have really been. It might not be been able to, because there's only so much they can do. With it, they're meant to just like kind of poke out and farm for ults a little bit, and double shield has so much sustain on them. Like Sky Guardians can only engage in so many fights at such a tempo with like their rather low sustain composition.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking for they're looking to kill. Like they're looking to engage on a target.
Yeah, I feel like after Yeah, when Pasty goes down, that signals kind of, I think, the beginning of the end for this composition, because without that disruption...
Without the ball engage.
Yeah.
It's difficult. So what we want to be doing, that's why I mentioned this a little bit earlier, that Milo wants to be going in with his ball, like when the ball is like rolling through, like they need to recognize that team composition wise, Squall has nothing to stop Wrecking Ball. Not a thing. Like it's unless and even Sig has the only stun on the team and only has that rock up every 6-8 seconds.
Right.
And it's also the least reliable stun to hit Wrecking Ball with. So Wrecking Ball goes in, creates the disruption. Milo's coming in with it, and this is where the soldier at an off angle would be really great. And instead of kind of like, where are they at? I have the overlay. I can't. Oh, they're dead right now. But I couldn't see them.
Yeah.
How long ago did they die? They're right here. This is why soldier up on the high ground would be really great, because right now soldier's just shooting double shield. This is like if you're in a comp game, you see your soldier doing this, you're kind of yelling at him. Like don't just shoot shield. So if he's up on this high ground right here, he could like hit a helix into the slam, get someone to burst someone down real low, and that's what this composition, like the Sky Guardian composition, does really well. All right, assassinating like one target.
Yeah.
But what double shield does really well is just existing. All right, especially with the pharmacy. Like honestly, the pharmacy can't really do much because they want to get clump damage in, and they're in Sky Guardians isn't staying clumped together.
Right. So Bubba Wyatt, oh, go ahead.
Oh, nope, that's about it.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, for you, Bubba, what were you all thinking after you lost this fight? Was there a plan to retake it? Did you have any conversations about comp switching?
No, there was no. We were completely fine with our comp. We were just thinking, hey, we have the tac visor, and we'll just go same plan. As you see, I made sure to follow O up here because we thought that Kaz had the pulse bomb at this point, and so O and I went up to the high ground in order to get that visor off.
Yeah.
And so that was our main win strat right there, and the rest was just follow up, try and win the point back.
Gotcha. And yeah, just watching it through, it looked like that worked out really well. For you, El Toasty, what was your all's plan after that fight? Did you want to try and set up anywhere different? Can we maybe rewind a little bit to take a look?
Yes, that's up. I need Yen up. Let's rewind.
Oh, hello. Okay. Yes. So after we have captured the objective, or like we won the fight, the calls was that their soldier should have tact visor, so be careful out of the line of sight.
Mm-hmm.
We really didn't have much of a ult combo to punish that, except for how how I was talking about earlier, positioning. If we taking the high ground where O is at, maybe this would have been a different situation.
Right.
Yeah, it would have been a completely different situation, because them getting the high ground almost guarantees your pharmacy, which is like what's going to be poking them out, especially like in the chokes here, because the chokes here on Oasis are just miserable to push through. If you're getting spammed out, if like anyone like a Sigma, if even the Sigma, or even if the pharmacy was sitting up there, could have potentially like solo ulted O. An ult's a good trade, in my opinion. But with the D.Va follow-up, it might not have worked. But if your Sigma's up there, or if your tank line's up there, just that tac visor doesn't necessarily get Appa and Witchery, and probably doesn't turn the fight. I mean, again, it's double shield just sustain on the point at that point then with out those two picks. And the tac visor on the low ground is easy to kite, easy to avoid. Don't really have to expend any ults. Maybe a lamp if someone's caught out. If anything, I'd probably only see like Witchery or Appa going down, but either way, that's still very, very winnable. So let's play this through. So now we have double shield coming back. And so this is difficult for different reasons, because this is exactly what Sky Guardians comp wants to happen. They want like to attack in rotation, but you guys are kind of busy dealing with a pharmacy, which is a bit of a misplay on your guys' part. That you let double shield kind of set up to a degree. and get on the point, which now makes it a little bit harder.
Now, what could they have done to prevent them from setting up on point?
Ignore the far.
Okay.
Like yeah, to a degree, like that's so like if your backline saying, oh, there's a pharmacy poking us out, they can like rotate away from it, because again, it's not like it's an Ana with like a Reinhardt where you have to be like line of sight of him. Your ball is a very independent tank. That's why people don't like him, because he doesn't need to get healed at all. Like he can just run around and get health packs. Your divas kind of can come and kite for that, but like if your ball and your tracer dive on them as they're pushing in, so like right about
So during the rotation,
right about here. All right, if they get hit right here, or go as they're crossing out here with the ball and the tracer, and your soldier up on the high ground here, at best, lamps coming out and someone's getting in, like maybe you hit a panic flux, or a fortify is coming out. You're using all your abilities to like mitigate as much damage as you can. All right, so that way when you actually get on the point, and Milo hits that pulse bomb, Pasty hits the mines, they don't have anything to stop that. Because the Pharah is like what needs a bit of the setup, needs you guys to be distracted by the double shield in order to get value. Kind of like right there, he hit a rock damage boosted rocket, and then Orisa hit some pot shots to follow it up. Ooh, but nice from Dire Raven.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. Yeah.
Oh.
Wow.
Do they take it again? Do they take the fight again? Yep. You could easily stall this out. I would have mined that bongo, or attack the bongo.
Yeah, mining a bongo is one of my favorite things to do. That and amplification matrices.
Yeah, just deny the value. Yeah, so like,
yep.
When bongo comes out, I'm sure we should. Oh no, that's a first priority. Kill the deployable, because it just does so much. 30% damage boost, I believe, for a whole team.
Yeah,
is wild. Especially on double shield, where if they all decide to look at you, doesn't matter who you are, you're gonna die.
Yeah. Is it only 30%? I thought it was a 50% damage boost.
It might be. It might actually no. It might be. Yeah, it is 50%, because it's 50% for everybody. Because it's basically super Valk. It's super Valk.
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly. Yeah.
Not a numbers person necessarily.
No, it's all good.
And yeah, I think.
I feel like Pasty's minefield could have been better placed there, like over the
stairs.
Bit,
it's not like,
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just trying to deny. I think an earlier minefield, using ults a little bit more aggressively, like. Whenever you have point on a control map like this, you want to be ulting to you generally want to be ulting to engage, or having a planned ult mid fight. And I didn't really see, other than the attack visor, it didn't look like anyone had any other plans.
Can we talk about that in specific, like mid fight planning? When do you typically have mid fight planning? Is that what you're doing in between maps as well, or is mid fight planning something that happens on the fly?
Mid-fight planning. So, like, kind of explain. What do you mean by that? Give me an example.
So, like what you were saying, like having an ult for mid-fight, right?
Yeah. So that would be pre-fight. That'd be pre-fight plan. That'd be like plan. When they're coming back from spawn. Like, hey, I want to use X mid-fight. Or it might be because I'm going to have ult mid-fight. Because you'll see this with ult tracking. I just pause it right.
Yeah.
Ult tracking is that people will say like. The way you should be ult tracking is that they have an ult, or I have an ult, I'm gonna have an ult, or I don't have, or just don't say anything.
Right.
That you say that you have it, you can use it early. If you say you're gonna have it, you use it mid. Some ults are better done mid fight, after ability to go out, like Death Blossom. You're not gonna Death Blossom a team walking through a choke unless you've baited out their flashbang, their Diva DM, their Brig, their Shield Bash, their on a nade, everything that can make that get no value.
Right.
So you'll use that early, where the Grav Dragon you could use like whenever. You could use that mid fight, you could use that early fight. Probably better to do it early fight, just so you get like you have a chance to like build it up again, and it's more of a guaranteed win. You might get them to pop ults early, then you can like cycle other ults to beat them. Gotcha.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, thank you. Well, let's go back then and look at the overhead now for University. So, what can you tell us about this one? What's important here to keep track of?
So University has evolved into pretty much a brawl map. Because it
Gotcha.
has this nice. Let me find my mouse here real
Sure.
quick. Wait, there we go. There we go. There we go. Let me get his pencil
Yep.
here, because this is, you might hear this term a lot. I'm sure our players have, is a kill box.
Yes. Yes.
So the kill box terminology means that this is where you hear this a lot on for pharmacy or for fair players. It's a kill box where you're going to clump everyone up for all the damage to get dealt in.
Right.
All right, so if you have like big spam characters, you want them in a kill box area where you're gonna hit something. All right, whether it's a shield, they're gonna get hit. It's gonna get hit. It's gonna take damage. It's gonna drain resources. And since again it's a box, you put a Reinhardt in there. He can swing on everything. You can play Winston in here. You'll see that. I think you actually saw that on Overwatch on all today if you were watching some of the matches, because they'll play like 6-man, which is the Winston Diva, Sombra Reaper, Moira Lucio, which is just really a brawl but with Monkey.
Right. Now, before I forgot to do this, before we move on to University, I wanted to check in with the players to see if you had any questions from the previous map. We can go back to it. We can go back to the video. I forgot to do that, so my apologies. Any questions from you two?
None from me.
All right.
None for me as well.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Yeah, then let's just continue then.
Right.
Ready to jump into the map then?
Yeah, because like, so the only thing that's different is like you'll see some teams take like the high ground with this if they're running like a special. Maybe they have like a legs on a pocket, or they'll have like a McCree. But generally, if you're running like here, it's generally just two teams running in at each other, or they'll take off angles for like ults, like High Noon, or setting up like a Death Blossom or Blizzard or an Amp Field. If you have a stellar like standout Baptiste.
Right, gotcha. Okay, cool. All right, let's jump into the map then. So let's see here. Give me a second. And all right, there we go. I'll let you take control again.
All right, here we go. Let's play this through. Fast forward a little bit. Oh, there we go. Oh, look at the bubble. Right. Yep, excellent. Destroying the spawn room. That's how you guarantee victory.
It's true. It's true.
All right.
2, 1.
All right. So I'm just gonna go out again. This one doesn't have as good as an overhead view, but we can watch most of the action right here. This is, I guarantee, where it's mostly going to take place.
Yep.
Round 2.
All right, so so Squall starting out on the. Actually, let me get. Yeah, so the doors are open. So they're starting out on the kind of a variation of the 6-man, but they have the pharmacy still.
Yeah.
And we have Sky Guardians running on the Sim May Brawl, which is you'll see Dallas Fuel kind of pioneered this, and you also see this at high level at Overwatch League.
Yes.
It's just so aggravating because Sim, you ramp her up to third charge. It's basically like having Zarya again, and May is. We all know about May. We all play tank here.
Yeah. We're very familiar with May. Now, what was actually? Can you pause for just a second?
Yes.
Would like to get some insight again from the players. So, Bubba, what was it like in your side? You know, what were you all thinking after that first map win?
We were just ready to go into another one. Milo played a few sounds on a soundboard like usual. I had to make sure to destroy the rest of the map, but we were really just ready to get into the next one. We were all good mental. We all knew the plan. We're just ready and just excited to get in.
And what was the plan? I mean, was it more than just, hey, we're gonna run rush?
Most of the time with our sim comp, it's really just go in, see when we can get Milo to that tier 3 beam, and as soon as he gets that tier 3 beam, we just full int.
Yep.
Okay, cool. And what did you see as your role on this team, right, in this plan? What was your goal?
My goal is really just as Diva, it's pretty much just I protect as much as I can, and I don't really go for big plays or anything. I make sure that Dire stays up. Try and keep Pasty to stay up as well. If I need to dive in, try and get a boop or try and get like a pick that who have someone who's like really low, and I can just boost her in, get them, and then boost her back out. And then also I was supposed to eat as much of the Pharah damage as possible.
D.Va has to do so much.
Diva really does.
I can't play D.Va that well. There's too much multitasking for me. She's like my second worst tank. Like right, her and Roadhog are tied.
I think if I were an off tank main, I would love Diva because I love just that like split attention stuff. It's why I'm a ball main.
Ironically, Ball was like the first character I played really well.
Really?
With my first main tank. Well,
Nice.
not first main tank with Orisa, but yeah, I love playing Wrecking Ball. I don't know, I
Yeah.
guess maybe the mobility and like it's a bit more freedom than D.Va, who is bound to her team.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so El Toasty, how about you all? What was it like for you? After that first map coming out, you got 50% almost of the capture there, so it was a good showing, even though you didn't come out with a win. What was your plan coming into this map?
So we were, so in the spawn room, we were basically like discussing, are they gonna play the dive comp with the ball, or they're gonna play a 6-man or a brawl? And the decision was that, you know what, let's just play dive, take the high ground, and then we go from there.
Cool, gotcha. And again, for you, what was your role as Diva in this composition? I imagine similar things to Bubba, but with some minor variations.
Yeah, just eat any spam that is coming. Protect who, mainly Monkey, Reaper, Moira, peek for Mercy if whenever need.
Gotcha. All right, cool. Thank you for that insight. I'll turn it back over to you now, Muffins.
All right, so I'll say this. I think that you guys would have this would have been a better map as a double shield for Squall with the Pharmacy versus this rush. Because if your plan was to take that high ground, you set up on that high ground with that double shield, see where because they TP'd out, they got to point. Skyguard got to point first with TP.
Right.
But then your Pharah just gets to poke into them really. With the dive, it's a weird game because you kind of can do the same thing. You can dive in here, but then they don't have to come to you at all. It's an interesting like dynamic. But the dive can definitely work. It does play very careful against the Mei and the Sim. We're coming in. Our Pharah's at our off angle. Yep. Oh, our Monkey's really low. Oh, okay, he had to jump back and out.
Oof.
Yeah, it sounds like someone didn't get the memo on the passing we were going with, or it probably just got caught out. Did we get caught out? Did we get Maywalled there? I didn't see.
I think the monkey might have jumped in, just based off where Toasty was. Oh no, maybe he didn't just make the rotation with the rest of the team.
Oh, he got pooped and it messed up his jump. Oh, I was still able to spray. He still could have easily like, walked up around here.
Yeah.
So not the end of the world, but this does slow our initiation down. But we can just be poking out. Again, they don't have anything to take care of Appa. Yeah, and a Reaper is a tough target to push into. But it does get taken down. But again, big winnable. Here, a lot of directs. Oh, Witchery's down, Toasty's down. Oh. Okay, so it's my expert analysis. We kind of chilled here a little bit too long, unfortunately, because like we could should have just kept on making them chase us a little bit.
So continue the rotation to kind of the windows. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Because like the good thing with dive is that you don't have to worry, like, to a degree, you don't really have to worry about people always like meeting back up. Luckily our Pharah is up and is doing like good work. We could have just met up and pincered them because we were applying constant pressure. Our Pharah is now res and almost has ult. Like looking at the enemy team's like ult tracking, like ult percentage, like it's just the tanks, the people who you expect to be up super high.
Right.
Because Ryan's swinging in, Shatters a cooldown. But Pharah is the first. Like, they have beats from the ambient healing that Athena has to put out. But like this even through a beat. Like this, like a good barrage again on a solo on anyone, a solo target, a team barrage can turn a fight and draw attention at least. Let's watch this through. Alright, so that's good. We have their nice shatter. A beat.
Get into position.
Oof, that fire strike.
Yep, on the resing Mercy. Probably better that she didn't get the res off. His feet a little bit more.
So what? Yeah, looking back at that last fight, what could have Squall done differently here?
Dein Schutzengel ist da. This will restore you.
So I think where's our far at specifically was.
Can't tell if she's behind that wall or not.
Yeah.
Okay, she
There you go,
was.
she's right
yeah.
there. So this is a really good angle for
Wow.
Farah.
Yeah.
This is a really good angle. What we probably want to do is since we don't have any ults up at the moment, so let's play this through. Let's play it at 0.75 just so it goes a little bit slower. I can talk over it. We're poking. We want to be on that Lucio to force out beat. Alright. He's hiding right now and then he popped. So I actually don't know. He popped for the coalescence. There's a menagerie of ults here.
Get into position.
I think actually this is a fight that Squall is supposed to lose.
Okay.
All right, because looking at the ult economy now, we popped Cole and Primal. Those Cole comes back, not as quick as it used to, but it comes back pretty easily, with its composition. And Primal, it's not a fight winning ultimate unless you're on a map that has like massive environmentals. Where I could tell that C-Town was going for the environmentals, but it didn't pan out. You use it to displace.
Right.
We have Bomb, Valk, and Barrage, and we're going to be up on Reaper ult coming in, which is great. They use Window, they use Beat, they have Blizzard, they're going to have High Noon, and they're going to have Diva Bomb. Again, probably going to bomb during mech, as is the case most of the time.
Right.
I think Squall could just come in. Could have come in here with a ult advantage and take the point. So let's see how that plays out.
Yeah, I'm reminded actually of one of the other coaches that came on here. They said something that I really liked, which was, you don't like a goal for a fight doesn't have to be to win. It could be just to build up ultimates, right?
Yeah, so those are what you call like dry fights.
Exactly.
So you'll see this a lot on on 2CP, especially like if you're like pushing. You had to fight really hard and take the first point, and you had to blow like a lot of ultimates or maybe like your key ults, and so you'll do like a dry fight to build stuff up.
Right.
So we're engaging with a bomb. I'm still on 0.75. So we got Maywell.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought that took a little long.
Yeah, it took me a minute. So Maywell a pretty big ability. May's actually not super great into. Ooh, that's perfect. That's big. Maybe not the two ults we wanted to use, but we still get the job done. I'd rather try not to use both DPS ults
Right.
in a fight if possible, because they're both very big and. Your Far's gonna get ult back pretty quickly. Reaper might have a harder time.
My will made real.
So now the issue is they have 4 ults, 4 very Shatter. Again, Shatter's a cooldown, but shattering one person can be worth it.
Right.
They still have their Diva Bomb, they have High Noon, and they have Blizzard. Now, in theory, both High Noon and Blizzard can get eaten by Diva, nullifying them, making it not necessary, or you just LOS High Noon. Gets no value other than zoning. The zoning High Noon. Diva Bomb, kind of the same thing. You can just scatter from it, and Shatter is probably is going to be the most difficult one to avoid. But what we should be doing, we should be Squall should be attacking them in the rotation to try to get those ults out. Maybe Monkey goes in, sacrifices himself, gets shattered, gets blizzarded.
Which rotation would you suggest that they attack on? Because I feel like there's a couple of different chokes here, right? So what's the ideal rotation to attack on?
So it all depends on where Farah is sitting at with their composition. So she's sitting over here, she's spamming this way. Their attention is built on shielding her and stopping her from doing anything. Monkey probably would want to jump in here, which would enable the Reaper to pop out of his little hidey hole right here
Yeah.
and shoot him in the back. All right, 'cause remember that's what the main tank is. The main tank wants to do that. If we have Diva on point here, Diva doesn't really have to protect anyone. Moira is a very self-sufficient healer. She doesn't have to hide. She has fade. She can fade out of most things.
Right.
You want to be attacking him right here. All right, because what that's going to happen is that Orion's going to brawl into you guys. If he brawls into you, your Pharah gets even more free damage. All right, and again, it just creates such a bit of a massive confusion. That's what you want to do with this this kind of this 4-man composition, I'll call it.
Right.
Since
Yeah.
you can't be a 6-man because of these two up here.
Yeah.
Is you just want to get them. So any dive comp, you want to get them in rotation. You want to get them because Brawl is gonna thrive on the point and taking the fight on the point where you insist and where it takes longer. Here it's gonna be a lot short. It's gonna be a lot shorter fight. They don't want to take a fight here where they're at right now.
Yeah.
For players, for Sky Garden, were you guys do you guys have set rotations that you specifically go through on this point? We always go through top, or or would you go through stairs here if you had to push someone off? Are you guys do you guys really have are you guys super hard rotators with set rotations, or are you guys a little bit more fluid based on enemy composition?
Definitely more fluid. We don't really have we have the set rotation for how we start with the TP going to right room, but that's really about it. We don't have specific oh, they have a Pharah, let's go to the right room. Oh, they don't have a Pharah, we can go high ground, or we can go straight to point, something like that. We're more fluid when it comes to pathing.
Yeah. Yeah, you never know exactly what the enemies the minor details of their DPS might be. And same thing goes for Toasty. Were you guys waiting to brawl to fight onto them here with this composition? Did someone say, hey, maybe we should let's try to get them in rotation here, or let's try to get them while they're getting to point?
I'm really trying to remember the call out. The main thing I remember was that they had a lot of ultimates, so we needed to basically get their cooldowns at least used so we can engage in the rotation.
Yeah. And going on to that, so that's good that they're calling that, but you want to do that before they get the point, especially with Brawl. They want to be here and then use their ults because they're going to be able to sustain up, especially with BAP. Everyone loves BAP and his immortality field. Makes diving very difficult. Makes the fight drawn out much longer in Brawl's favor. You get them in here in this rotation. Maybe they pop a Shatter. Maybe they pop a Lamp. Maybe they pop a Blizzard. Maybe you might demech the Diva and she has to pop Bomb to remech if they don't call it a lost fight. Dive wants to play Dive might so if we're talking about getting to tempos of compositions.
Mm-hmm.
Dive has very is slow setups. It's very strong setups, and they play those slow. But the actual fights need to be fast. You need to go in and engage on things. Whereas Brawl kind of wants to drag things out as long as possible. It can be a very slow composition. It might not feel that way when you're the Reinhardt just swinging your hammer, holding M1 down, but you could get if you hold your in a Brawl v Brawl, Ryan v Ryan with 2 BAPs, you could get 2 Shatters in a fight if the sustains all line up right.
Yeah.
Easily if it just drags out long enough. Whereas it's a dive, you get 2 primals in a fight, something went really wrong. We're here, not bad. That's a good trade. So this trade goes in the favor of Squall. Oh, did the Diva Bomb save it maybe? No, I don't think so. No, that's good. That was a unfortunate trade outs there. Oh, but they're getting back to point fast.
They did get back to point very fast.
Yep.
Justice reigns from above.
Let me look at that barrage again. That barrage seemed a little
Yeah. Seemed like it mostly went into a shield.
Yeah, it looked like a kind of like a panic barrage, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I can kind of get into the mindset of them, where are they at? There we go. For a second, let me show my inner DPS player. Fighting the D.Va again. D.Va the big enemy of Pharah. We can't confirm that the Pharah is dead here. We get the Lucio. So okay, so that's not a bad trade.
I didn't notice the Lucio. Yeah, that was good.
Just jumped right into it.
Yeah.
We conked it away.
And the shield went down, and that led to the kill too.
Yeah, so that's pretty good. Okay,
Yeah.
I saw it. Since I didn't watch it all the way through, I just thought the Pharah died right there because of the shield and the DM. But that's pretty good. All right. And Dive can play like that. Dive can like expend ultimates kind of like out of whim because you can like always engage quicker than the enemy team more often than not. Okay, now they're running the O on the Reaper. That's unfortunate. All right,
Yeah.
that's very unfortunate. Moira got shattered out coalescence. Oh, but good trade. Oh.
Nice zoning, Toasty.
Yep. I would have kept our Reaper up if I was Chaplain. I wouldn't have necessarily gone up to Toasty because you had bomb and you could always use that to remech. I think, yeah, because you even had bomb there. You're probably going to get it even before that. Him up there with the high noon. Boop him off.
Oh, Chaplain was getting chased away by Bubba.
He gets chased out by Bubba.
Yeah, nice play there.
Yeah, the top one. So we get. Oh, should have bombed there.
Oh yeah.
Just for the remake.
Just because the rest of the team was there, right? Like
Yeah,
they
just
had
'cause they're
stalled
there.
long enough. Yeah.
Because what you need to do, like the bomb doesn't have to kill anyone, because everyone has to hide behind the Rhine shield. for
Right.
that. And what you do as D.Va is you, as soon as you get demeched, you bomb and you jump down into this hole. And then when your bomb goes off, you remech, you fly back out of the hole. Just a nice little bit of stall. If I had a nickel for every time a D.Va stalled that way. Oasis.
I'm gonna file that away if I ever play D.Va. That's a good little tidbit of info there.
And a little bit with like even with the Chaplain getting chased down by Bubba Wyatt, they faded away. Maybe again, I'm not there in the moment. It's 2020 hindsight's a thing. And that you can always fade. You can also she could have faded up or Chaplain. I don't know their gender. Could have faded up here into behind the Reaper. I think the Reaper wins that fight if they have a pocket. Their Reaper had Dire Raven on them, pocketing them. If we kept our Reaper up, I think maybe it might have turned. But not bad, not bad. Oh, the Rhyme pins in. Oh, he should have got punished for that.
Yeah.
Darn free Kaz. Up there, they have this good setup right here.
Good touch.
Get a Blossom. It gets DM'd though, unfortunately. That's why that Funk's not a great initiation ult.
Right. That's more of a mid-fight ult, isn't it?
Yeah, because you want to get that D.Va DM. You want to track the D.Va DM. You want to see maybe get her out of mech if you can. Yep, that was a good cleanup.
Yeah.
That's cleanup. All like D.Va always gets used as cleanup there.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, not bad.
Victory.
Yeah, I think it was that ideally the dive composition wants to engage a bit more frequently and get out more things in between fights. That's true on dive versus anything that's again not dive.
Right.
Even then, it's like trading backlines. At the end there, like so what did what were your team thinking like at the end there, like during that, like not necessarily the last fight, but with Sky Guardians having a retake. Or coming up on the retake right about... Yeah, coming up like right on the retake after this. So you're up one on the retake here. What is Sky Guardian thinking?
Here we're just waiting until our tanks get back, and since we know that they don't have the primal or the Pharaoh ult. The Pharaoh ult was like the thing that we were really good. We were like, oh, okay, they don't have that. We should be good here. Pasty had the Earth Shatter, and we knew that was the ult we were gonna use that fight. And then it was just like go in, just straight to point. I'll DM the Pharah as much as I can, and that was really it. It was just full. We were just like, oh, just another fight.
Capitalize off a shatter. It sounded like was the big, because that's the only ult you had coming into the fight necessarily.
Yes.
Yeah.
Always a good one. And getting that coalescence is just huge, which is very unfortunate. And Toasty, what were you guys thinking on that last fight? Like, right where Bubba Wyatt was. Like, you guys had just taken point back.
We were just trying to keep everyone up before that they engaged. That was honestly the plan at the moment. But since everything was going very, very quickly, so
Yeah.
Yeah, Control really goes fast. There's not a lot of time for like planning between fights.
Team kill.
Yeah, control's the hard one, because it really comes down to like who can just kill better to a degree. Because there's a few like spots you can hold, but there's no rotation, there's no extra points to go to.
Right.
Just fight. You're gonna see the enemy team at some point, and you just gotta kill them.
Yeah.
And you can take an off angle here or there. It's really like individualistic play that really shines through on there.
Yeah, that's true. Well, thank you for that review. And now let's sum things up for everybody. Let's leave everybody with something to remember. So can you expand a little bit on what you said here?
So always remember your roles in a team and try to play together no matter the style of comp. So so what I mean by that is don't literally play like stacked on top of each other for the composition, but remember like what you need to do in the composition, whether that is for the tank role, like what your tank does specifically, because all of our tanks do something different. You know,
Yep.
Reinhardt creates space differently than Wrecking Ball does. Orisa creates space differently than Reinhardt. What your off tank needs to be doing, like, you know, if you're running Zarya versus Diva, or what your DPS need to be doing, you know, whether it's going in with your dive tank, whether it's just pestering their backline, getting out abilities, whether it's being a third tank in New Goats style with a Mei or Reaper, or even a Sim with a 225 HP, because she plays very similar to the Zarya style.
That's very true. Yeah.
Hitting goats.
And she does have the
or
shields as
what-
well.
Yeah. Or what you need to be doing as a support, whether, like, you know, that's even a good support's a great support can turn a fight. Like, you know, we've all like I think it was Dire Raven got 2 on the Zen.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
or
right.
A big nade can change a big sleep, good MO, or your Baptist being a good DPS.
Yeah.
On top of that.
Excellent.
You know,
Well, yeah, thank you very much. And before we close things out, Bubba and Toasty, did you have any final questions here for Muffins?
I do not have any. No.
not on my end.
All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. Yeah, this has been fantastic, and I really enjoyed this episode. And looking forward to the next one. So, if you tuned in and enjoyed it, be sure to follow us afterwards. You can find all of our Twitters in the credits. Make sure you follow Overwatch Tranquility as well, and be sure to tune in to the other amazing shows that are happening. It's Tuesday night, so we're gonna have 2 more games coming up for you, both the Transcendence and Discord tier matches happening. In addition, be sure to tune into the Iris podcast, predicting Tranquility, and the Beat Drop, which will be happening later this week. Missed it last week, but I believe Captain Jack's basement is looking a whole lot better than it was that time, so hopefully he will be back for that. Any final words or thoughts from you, Muffins?
No, I'm just excited for a good week of games.
Yeah.
Gotta go. I think my team is actually gonna be scrimming, so I gotta go back and coach them.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming in. Thank you both, and everybody at the Overwatch Tranquility community. GG's, and see you next time.
Thank you.